COVID-19. We know that it has completely changed our lives. It was officially declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020. A pandemic is a disease that affects a large number of people in multiple countries. Not only has COVID-19 spread to more than one country, it has infected people from nearly every country in the world. As of June 18th, more than 8 million people have been infected with the virus, and around 440,000 people have died as a result. This disease is a serious issue around the world, but how can something so small have such a large effect? To understand this, we first need to look at the structure of the virus particle. The SARS-CoV-2 virus is what causes COVID-19, and the exterior of the virus is made up of three types of proteins. The envelope and membrane proteins make up the viral envelope, and the spike proteins bind to receptors on the host cell. How does the virus actually enter human cells? A spike protein on the virus binds to the ACE2 receptor, which is found in many cells and is the same receptor the SARS virus particle used. Part of the spike protein is cleaved by the TMPRSS2 protease, resulting in the activation of the virus particle, allowing it to enter the cell. The process of entry is called endocytosis, in which the virus is engulfed by the host cell. Once the virus particle is inside of the cell, it releases its RNA, which contains information for the creation of more virus particles. The RNA strands use the ribosomes inside of the cell to undergo translation, in which the order of nitrogenous bases in the RNA is converted to proteins that make up the virus. These proteins then combine with some of the RNA to create more virus particles, and the entire process is repeated in other cells. The virus can affect many types of cells as long as the ACE2 receptor and the TMPRSS2 protease are present. The virus has a large effect on the lungs, specifically the tiny air sacs within them called alveoli. Alveoli are responsible for gas exchange with capillaries by oxygenating the blood and taking in carbon dioxide. The virus particle enters the alveoli and uses the ACE2 receptor to get into the type 2 pneumocyte. It then replicates to create more virus particles and destroys the pneumocyte in the process, resulting in the release of inflammatory mediators by the cell. The mediators then reach the macrophage, which activates an inflammatory response. This leads to the contraction of the endothelial cells of the capillary, increasing its permeability. This allows fluid to leak out into the interstitial space, and some fluid and debris even enter the alveoli. Since this decreases the permeability of the alveoli, less oxygen is able to enter the bloodstream, resulting in a dangerously low level of oxygen known as hypoxemia. This is what leads to acute respiratory distress syndrome, or ARDS, which is how the virus kills people. As of now, there is no vaccine to prevent the spread of the outbreak, but one way to stop the virus could be to use a drug that inhibits the activity of the TMPRSS2 protease. Although scientists have a lot of knowledge on the virus, there is still much to be discovered, so who knows what we'll find next.